Hey guys, welcome back to another TA video. I'll be going over some names I'm looking at for the rest of the week and possibly the next upcoming weeks. And let's get right into it. So first off, in the last video I did mention if you guys want to play it safe and just be patient, I would wait for a break above 613 or 600. We did price bulls actually defended 600 quite well, and we literally bottomed from that. And if you look here on the golfing calendar that we formed on Friday, price formed two inside days on Monday and Tuesday, and obviously we saw that breakout on the daily. So what I'm seeing is either we could maybe consolidate and retest back down to 613. I want to see if bulls could hold here, but in reality, really above 613, I do think we could see a retest back up to 627, 630 on the daily. And where things get really sexy for bulls is if you break above 630, you could have a great chance of seeing a breakout to 637 or even higher to 640, 645. But yeah, that is really my play. I'm not really looking to the downside anymore. Remember, always use the EMAs. Well, I use the EMAs as a support level. So again, I'll say it one more time, 613 is support. Really, I'll get bearish until you break back below 600 and break that level to see a move back down to 588. And again, what I'm thinking is if we could hold 613, we could see move back up to the top of the range or above 630, 627. Okay, that is it for for Qs. We're gonna move on to SPY. Okay, look here. On Sunday, I mentioned that price did retest that 690 level, and we got that rejection on Monday, and you formed that double inside day once again on the daily time frame, and you obviously broke out above 690. So again, either we wait for that retest or we should see a continuation back up to the top of the range, which is 695 and 697. And again, if you break back above that and hold that level, you could definitely see SPY head up to $700 on the daily. So again, use previous resistances as supports. So all I'm going to be waiting is if price dips down to 690 or even the EMAs, I want to see if price could hold it for a continuation back up higher. And again, once price is above the 8 and 21 EMA on the daily, I'm looking for the upside only. Okay, we're gonna move on to the DIA. Again, so DIA was actually, I was kind of wrong on this. I thought we were gonna break out. Obviously, we saw that nasty rejection on the daily. We did get rejected. We obviously bounced that support around 488 and around these bottom wicks around 487. So really, what I'm really going to be looking at for DIA is above 496.5. Again, using these prior levels of resistance as my pivot low for this upside play if I do want to play it. So again, above 496.5, I do think we could see a move back up to 505. But again, you are below that resistance, so I wouldn't get too bullish. Again, I want to wait for price to break above on the daily to see a continuation back up higher. And again, my pivot level really is below 48 on the daily to see more downside. But right now you're still in this chop box here. And why 48 is a level of mine is because you got rejected here, bounced here again, rejected here. And so multiple touches here on that 48 level and 490. So definitely keep an eye on that. So again, I would wait above 496.5 for continuation back up to 505 on the daily. Okay, we're going to be going over the same names that we went over on Sunday because I think most of these plays definitely have more upside. And actually, we're not going to do that. We're going to add actually one name that I completely forgot about. And so NVDA did report earnings today. And if you look here on the daily time frame, we are forming a possible inverse head and shoulders here on the daily. So we have our head here. So we have our left shoulder here, the head here, and the right shoulder right here. So really our neckline is 193. So again here, if we break above 193 and possibly break above this previous engulfing candle high, which is 196 or 195.5, we could definitely see a bigger breakout to 200 and possibly 212. But really, and we could do the real technical move here, which is the length of the head to the neckline, which is roughly 218. So roughly 218, 211 is gonna be my target above 193, 196. So again, and I did alert this on my Discord that I will be looking to buy NVIDIA above 196 or 193. Okay, so again, use that prior neckline as a resistance, I mean, a support level or even the EMAs. But again, as long as you're above 193, I think you're looking great for NVIDIA, and you'll look even better if you manage to close above that daily candle on the daily time frame, which is 195.56. Okay, so we're gonna move on to the next name. So we're gonna be going over the names that we went over on Sunday again. So Amazon, we still haven't executed this play. Really, I just said just watch out for this potential U-shaped reversal. So again, I'll be waiting for a break above 212.45. Again, you should also pay attention to the EMA on the the daily 21 EMA, because we could definitely break out here, maybe see rejection before we actually reverse here on the daily. So again, I'm not looking for calls at the moment. I just want to see a break above this on a higher time frame before we actually possibly reverse for Amazon. Okay. And yeah, so again, above 212.5, I do think you can see a move back up to 237 for Amazon. And also keep in mind that we are possibly forming a dead cat bounce. So even if, again, I wouldn't jump the ship here, because you are maybe we see a rejection here and we kind of see price consolidate and we form that possible flag or something like that before we actually break above 212.5. Okay. We're going to move on to the next name, which is going to be Meta. So I mentioned Meta above 650 is something I'm going to be looking at. Prices, I did mention that we're forming these higher lows on the daily, and we're seeing that play out perfectly. And again, if you look back on my previous video on Sunday, I did mention that above 650, it opens the doors to 675. And that is what I'm looking at for Meta. Again, so if you hold above 650, always be mindful of that 21 EMA as well. So again, above 650, I do think you'd see 675. But really, my main play is above 675. You could definitely open the doors to 740 and retest this previous earnings high on the daily time frame. And that is it for Meta. Again, below 650, I'm not interested. But right here, I'm really paying attention for Meta for a breakout back up to 675 or even higher to 740. So Apple is a name that I did play on Monday. If you look here, price, if you guys look back at my previous video on Sunday, I said if you break above 265, you can see it move back up to 280 and to retest the top of the range on the daily time frame. And we're actually seeing that play out right now. Again, once you break above 265, we could see 280. We're seeing that take place right now. So I know there's no indications of any reversal right now. But again, we kind of formed a strong move up. So if we do see any chop, right, or a flag pattern, definitely see if these EMAs kind of start to curl back up, so we could play the breakout back up to 280 or even all-time highs, which is 288. Okay. So yeah, there's nothing to really be looking at for Apple right now. It's just maybe look for that retest back down to 265 or consolidate to the EMAs on the daily, or we just see more continuation back up to 280. And that is it for Apple. So again, my target's 280, and if you break above 280, you really open the doors to 288 on the daily time frame. We're gonna move on to Microsoft. So this name did see that capitulation candle on the daily, and if you look here on Monday, we actually did gap down, and we kind of formed this beautiful weekly candle already, which is that bullish hammer candlestick on prior April tariff highs of last year in 2025. So we're obviously seeing price respect that level, and so right now I am anticipating a potential reversal or short-term bounce or relief rally on Microsoft. Microsoft is seeing some noticeable buying volume here on the daily as well, so definitely keep that in mind. Trend is still obviously very bearish on the daily, but if we see some sort of retest, and we form these higher lows, you could definitely play the upside back up to this previous highs on the daily, which is 424 and 440, which is the gap resistance. Okay, so again, I'm still looking bullish. I mean, not bullish, but really you're at this critical level on the weekly time frame. You are forming a very bullish hammer candlestick on the weekly time frame, which it still hasn't formed yet, but right now you're looking great for Microsoft. So again, I'm looking for a relief bounce back up to 423 and 440 for Microsoft. Okay, as long as you're holding that support, 385, 390, 393, And yeah, you're looking great for Microsoft short term for a bounce. Again, we're going to move on to Tesla. So if you look here on Tesla, I did mark down this trend line. We're obviously seeing that breakout happen right now. Did mention on Sunday's video, you could maybe wait for that 414 break, or if you want to be more patient, is wait above 420. Again, we saw that perfect rejection of that 420 level and possibly that 21 EMA on the daily as well. Again, if you look here on the 15-minute time frame, you did respect and retest that 414. Again, so again, you could either be patient here, or like what I'm doing is I already buy at 414, but I'm looking to really start to full position above 420. Maybe we see this breakout happen of this channel. We break out, maybe retest before we actually continue up higher for Tesla. Yeah, so really again, I would wait above 420 to see move back up to 440, 450. And again, above 450, I think that's the real move back up to 48, 490, or even 500. Okay. And your support levels, so right now you're at this chop box, but again, your support levels is 400, which is a psychological level. But really, I'm just looking for Tesla above 420. Okay. All right, next name is Coinbase. If you look back at my video, I said above 170, we could see move back up to 185 or even 200 on the daily or weekly time frame. We're seeing that take place right now. We actually broke, if you look here on the 5-minute of what really happened, price retested that 170 level, obviously bounced here, and you saw that monster rally throughout the whole day. Okay, so again, on the weekly time frame, you're looking great for Coinbase. You did form that bullish hammer candlestick on the weekly time frame, and you're looking even better on the weekly time frame. But keep in mind, we're still underneath the 8 and 21 EMA on the weekly, so there's still a lot of work to be done for bulls for a full reversal. Yeah, again, we're looking great as long as you're above the daily 8 and 21 EMA on the shorter time frame, which is the daily. So even if price consolidates a bit, as long as you're above 170, I do think you could see that reversal back up to $200 or 185, which we already hit. And yeah, that is it for coin. The next play I'll be looking at, or I did call out, is MSTR. So if you look here, let me delete this. All right. So look, if you look here on the daily time frame, price did form this flag pattern. We did see that breakout happen on the daily, or even the 4-hour as well, where we obviously broke out. I said above 130, you could see it move back up to 139. But again, I think we're still early on a lot of these plays, because I think the real move is going to be above 140, 139. This is a big level here. We got rejected here, acted as support, acted as resistance here as well. So again, above 140, I think you could see a bigger breakout for MSTR to 175. And really, yeah, because you could possibly retest the 21 EMA on the weekly time frame. And don't be surprised to see a much bigger, oh my God, you're forming a nasty, sexy, bullish candlestick on the monthly as well. Because that could definitely be a sign of a relief rally soon. And maybe we see a bounce back up. Oh, we could see a 64% bounce. Wow. Okay. That is something to pay attention to. Sorry, I kind of mumbled right there. But yeah, definitely keep an eye on MSTR above 140. Again, your support levels is 130, the 8 EMA. But really, above 140, you could see that potential reversal on a larger scale on the weekly time frame. Okay. And we're going to move on to PLTR. Again, these are names that I've really all called out for on Sunday's video. And if you look here, price did get rejected at that 135 level, but really what I'm looking at for PLTR is a break above 135 to potentially play a reversal back up to 150 or to even 160. But this is where things could get tricky for bulls, because you are still very bearish, right? But really, if we could see a price breakout, this could be a perfect retest for maybe a continuation back down lower. But again, most of these names have gotten beaten down by a lot. So again, we could see a very strong short-term rally. But really, the bigger picture is that this could be, all these names could be forming higher lows, and we could see maybe more of a long-term play, a reversal back down, and maybe break the support at 125. But really for PLTR, I'm looking for a breakup of 135 to see move back up to 150, 160, which is a prior level of demand, and where price has consolidated here multiple times and bottomed or even topped. Okay, and that is it for all the names. Oh, you know what? Before I switch on to the sectors, I really want to look into, because I'm going to go over XLF, is I'll be looking at Goldman Sachs above 932, and I'm going to show you guys why to look at financials right now. So obviously we saw that nasty bearish candlestick on Monday, but really you are still kind of consolidating pretty healthy here after a strong rally for months, right? And if you look here on the weekly time frame, we're just forming a beautiful channel here. So really what I'm looking out for Goldman Sachs is a potentially break above 932 to see move back up to 960 or to even 983. But really I've been seeing flow still getting hit at $1,000. So really above 932, which could be that trend line break, is we could see move back up to 1,000, or all-time high to $1,000. And the next one, the last name before I get into the next three sectors, is JP Morgan. So if you look here on the daily, we did form this awesome, possible reversal candle on Tuesday, which was yesterday. So again, price has bottomed here multiple times here, and now we're possibly seeing that take place right now. So again, if you kind of hold above 302, 303, 300, you can definitely see move back up to 316. And if we look here, I bet, which I could be wrong, but I bet we're forming a bullish divergence. Yeah, so while price, obviously went lower, the RSI did not note that down. So we are forming a bullish divergence on the daily, which could be a great signal for bulls. So definitely keep an eye on JP Morgan above 300 to see move back up to 316 or to 332. So that's all the names that we're going to be going over. Again, so the next sector I'll be looking at right now is XLC, which is communications, which is Microsoft, Netflix, and I forget the other main holdings, but I forgot. Anyways, but pay attention to this sector because we are forming, we are consolidating in this range. But if you look here on the, oh no, that's just terrible right now. But if you look here on the daily, we're still forming these inside days. But again, I would just be paying attention to XLC above 117.6 because that's where you could possibly see a bottom in all those other names. But price is kind of getting tight here on the daily. If you could kind of see that's a megaphone pattern. So maybe price is consolidating here before we actually bottom out here on the daily. So again, price is still in this chop box. You have your support level at 115, which did act as support. So again, if you break above 117.5, you could see a real strong breakout in the near future. Okay, we're gonna move on to XLF. So keep in mind about that JP Morgan Goldman Sachs play. We're seeing a potential sweep here. And if you look here on the weekly time frame, you are forming a very sexy bullish candlestick on the weekly time frame. And again, if you look here, we sweep the lows, and now you're forming a potential strong reversal here, which we bottomed multiple times. So again, if we see Goldman Sachs and JP Morgan really start to bottom here, we could definitely see XLF start to reverse and head back up to 53.43 or even to $54 here on the daily. Okay, so again, you're back above support. Definitely keep an eye on that. And we did sweep the lows. So really, if we really do break back below these lows, which is below $51, you could definitely see more danger to financials. Okay, for the last sector we're going over is XLY. All right, so I'm going to show the weekly before we get into it. So right now, price is still forming these, price is obviously consolidating in this range between 117.75 to 115. Double inside days so far in the weekly time frame, even though we haven't really closed this week's already. But definitely keep an eye on above this sector, above 117.75. Price action is getting super tight. And if you look here, you are kind of forming a downward trend line. So you could definitely see a potential break out in the near future. So again, your support level is 115.4, 115. And for a breakout, you want to wait above 117.75 or the 21 EMA on the daily time frame. And obviously your target of 117.75 is 121.5. Okay, that is it for right now, guys. Hope you guys liked the video. Leave a comment or like, show some support and love. And I'll see you guys in the next video. Peace.